Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. This is part 2 of the subwoofer build, fitting subwoofers into the Abarth 595. Little bit of bad news, I can't find the wiring kit for this particular subwoofer. At the time when I was buying this car, I took all 3 subwoofers out at the same time and I can't remember what I did with it. So until that point comes, we cannot fit this particular subwoofer in. As you can see in the back though, I have got 2 other subwoofers that we can test out. I've got the Edge 12-inch subwoofer there and the other one. I don't know what the name is of that one, but we'll definitely show it in the video anyway. But yeah, this one takes a priority, like a specific, proprietary like inlet, which you can buy the actual thing for it online, I would have thought, but considering everything at the moment is so inconvenient, we cannot do that. So we're just going to move on with the video and be able to show you guys what we're going to do with the RCA cables and the remote wire, and obviously continue on from the power wire that we've already ran on the video just gone. So anyway guys, let's move on to step number 1. So first of all guys, what we need to do is we need to be able to determine what wire is our remote wire. Now I have said in the past, whether it was in the last video or not, I'll just repeat myself. You can buy piggyback fuses which go into like the cigarette lighter down there, that you'd use from the fuse box. But this is the easiest way to do it. If your radio is from China, you should be able to directly link it straight to a remote wire. If not, what you do is you go onto the back here, and this wire here is the ignition live. So every wire is different on every radio, but if you can find the ignition live, use your manual, you should be able to find out which one you need to splice into to be able to do it. Literally all you do is cut it, splice it. I've heat shrinked it, and actually I've used solder today to be able to actually get it correct and into it. So basically what we need to do now is we need to attach our RCA cables, which look like these, very common, and what we want to do is we want to be able to attach them into the port. Doing this one-handed is not the best, but hey ho. But yeah, so that should be how it looks, and then all we're going to do is we're going to attach it to the wiring loom. Now I bought this Connect 2 system and it doesn't work. I know there's something I'm not getting right with it, so until we get that right, we can't use the steering wheel controls. So as of at the moment, we can't use it, but we can still use the radio and still use every other feature. It's just literally we can't use the actual steering wheel. So all we've got to do now is we've got to attach the sockets to the other sockets, and then we've got to run our wires. Now tip as well is to make sure that the RCA cables and the power wires don't go anywhere near each other to be able to give you the best sound quality possible. So that's just a little tip for you guys. Run them either side of the car. Definitely in a small car like this, you'll thank me. So anyway guys, let's move on to that bit so I can show you where I'm going to be running them and how we can get them to the back into the trunk. Little question for you guys as well. If you are interested and you want to run a subwoofer and then an amplifier as well to say power the speakers and everything, you can run these splitters. Now I used to use these in my old car, and all you do is you put these onto here and then it'll split, so you got 2 sets of rights, 2 sets of lefts. Just a little bit of information for you guys. If you want to actually do that, you can do. It does work, and then all you'd have to do is make sure that this wire, you splice this off so you can have another one of these. You could use this wire, because I've done it myself in my old car. You can just cut this wire, and then you can have 2 wires coming off, one to the amplifier, one to the amplifier in the active subwoofer. Okay guys, so running your RCA cables, the easiest way to do it is to be able to get a torch, put it underneath, and you should see that light there. That will tell you that you're in the right place for reaching, and as you can see when you come down, that's where I was. So all you do then is pull your RCA cables through, and hopefully you've got enough length on them to be able to make it to the boot. You should do, because the RCA cables are extremely long normally. And just keep pulling it through, and you normally find that they go towards the corners when you are sort of putting them in. They're going towards the corners. It probably is a good idea to remove these, but I just can't be bothered, so to tell the truth. So literally just pull them all through, leave yourself a little bit of slack, a little bit of playroom, and then just make sure everything's not knotted, and away we are. And then the other thing that we've got to do then is we've got to repeat the process, but we want to keep this remote wire going the other way, depending on where you're going to have the sub. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run it along the side of the interior, or possibly down the door well, more than likely down the door well. It's normally the best place to put it, but I think until I've got a permanent solution, I'm just going to run the wire back into the boot, because at the moment we don't know which sub we are going to be using, so it might end up just being under the passenger seat. So until we know for certain, it's pointless trying to run it perfectly, because I might have to rip it all back out again. Definitely remote wires, power wires and ground wires anyway. RCAs aren't too much of a problem, but yeah. So anyway, move on to the next bit. Okay, so we've ran that wire, and the same applies with this one. You just shine the light. It's kind of hard because of the, there you go, as you can see the light's there in the corner. That's the easiest way. So easy, guys. Literally, once you've threaded that through, you know, take the slack. So that is then, you guys are pretty much sorted. It's just routing everything. So we want to now send everything back into the dash and to the boot, nice and neatly, as neatly as possible anyway. Now, another tip as well, do not set your dash up completely until you know that everything's working. If you get to this point now and you want to test to make sure everything works, you can do, but just make sure that you've got a good ground on your subwoofers or your amplifier before. It's really important, guys, otherwise you may cause a short out or a fire or something nasty. You might hurt yourself, so just be careful when testing everything. Okay guys, so what I've also done is I've just ran it through some nice piping so it's nice and neat. That will keep everything nice and together, and I'll do that also for the RCAs. Okay, so next thing you need to do is you need a 10mm socket, and if you take the central, the rear cup holder cover off, all you do is you remove the little plastic cover, and then underneath is a 10mm socket, and then we should be able to just run it. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep it nice and neat. I'm just going to run it up there, so you'll only see one wire for the time being until we've got everything nice and sorted, and I'll tuck it underneath the seats. You will also have to remove this one and the ones under that cup as well, and they are also 10mm, and then you should be able to run this nice and neatly through that well. So guys, you probably wouldn't believe this, but to run the wire through the cabin at the back of the seats into the actual boot, what I've done is I've put my stop lock underneath the seat and pried the seat up a little rather than undo it. And then I've put a spatula and cable tied it and pushed the spatula through like a thread. Now I've got to try and get the bloody spatula out. There we go. Well, I didn't need that spatula, but yeah, but it did work at least. Okay guys, so now every bit of wire is through into the cabin and into the boot. What we just need to do now is we need to find a grounding area, which probably be one of those bolts out the way behind a subwoofer, and then we can get this thing hooked up properly and get it playing. So I think we're going to try the big boy. That's the other one, MA Audio. Both pretty good. So when I tested the radio, that one sounded pretty good to be fair, but it was on my passenger seat, so we'll see how it sounds in the boot. And then this one's more powerful. So anyway, let's get the ground sorted, and then we can move on. Right then guys, so we have now ground down the paint on that bolt down there, and we've also run all the wires through. So really now all it is about sorting out this, and then trying to basically just hook them up to the amplifier, and in turn basically starting off the sub. So pretty much nearly there. Okay guys, so we are nearly there now. I've basically heat shrinked all these up, wrap this up nice and neatly, and I do have some tape as well that I can put on once everything is completed. Some like you know, nice tape to keep everything looking as factory as possible. I do like it to look nice and neat. Remember, do not have the battery plugged in when you do this. That would be really daft. I love how that guy's decided to do something crazy with a angle iron when I'm trying to do my what's it, but hey ho. Okay, these little forks do make it a lot better. They make them a lot more stable when you have like the forks on them, rather than just, you know, just rather than the wire. You can just run wire if you so please, but I just think it'd be better with the wire. I'm trying to put this last one in. There we go. Halford special. That'll do. So that is now completely installed. The only thing you've got to then set is the gain and everything. So yeah, I haven't completely fitted it as far as I've done all the wiring's done and everything like that, but there is blue wire down there still. You can just about see it. That hasn't been put through the trim, but I'm going to leave that for now, just in case I do find that stupid wiring loom wherever it is for that other subwoofer. But anyway, let's see what it looks like and see what it sounds like when we test it now. There you go guys, all nice and neat. Looks almost factory, pretty much. Not far off. Fingers crossed the battery's not dead. Oh, well, battery's not dead. Let's see. We've got a radio. It's on standby. Radio.
I mean, that's a Pap's dream.
You're welcome.
Did you hope there was a queue so you could stay out a bit longer?
Well, it definitely feels a bit basic.
Thank you, actually.
All the lines on the floor now as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all that
That bass is definitely on.
Gotta do what you gotta do. Do you know what I mean?
Congratulations, thanks for taking my call today. What's the plans for tonight? You staying in?
Yeah. That's definitely on.
As directed by me,
That's
Mom.
definitely on.
We'll be able to see on Instagram.
So I want to do is just double check. Okay guys, so I am absolutely knackered. It's taken a while to get it sorted and get all the wires where it needs to be. As you can see down here now, just here there's like a wiring loom there now that's running to the boot. But you can't really tell where, you know, what it's doing. Subwoofer's in. Like I said, it's nothing crazy, but it sounds a lot better than it does. Turn the gain at least halfway up. Put the gain at least halfway up, so at least it gives you a decent amount of bass. And then on that one, it's got like a bass booster which you can put all the way up if you really want to, or halfway up, or wherever you want it to be. But then once you've done that, you're sorted, guys. The only thing I've got to sort out is the RCA cables below me. And yeah, it's pretty much done. So gain halfway and then go from there, but don't go too far because you'll blow the amp. And then all you got to do really then is just tidy up, which I've got a lot of tidying up to do now. And I've got to have a look for that other wiring loom for the other subwoofer, because we have got this subwoofer. I'm going to leave this one in for now. I'm going to have a little drive to the shops because we haven't got anything for tea, and I'll record my reactions and see what it sounds like when we're not around everybody and annoying everyone. So once we can actually go to the shops and go and get something, because I haven't been out today, I've been doing this, so yeah, we'll have some reactions for you, and we'll go from there. So anyway guys, hope you enjoyed this little series, and you know, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in another video. Cheers.